O.M.A.C, number 3, written by Dan DiDio and Keith Giffen, art by Keith Giffen. We last left off with Kevin being sent to Shreveport by Brother Eye, and Brother Eye making contact with Checkmate, and also Maxwell Lord, who is in charge of that. All of that meaning absolutely nothing to me. We pick up in Shreveport, where he's at an ATM, and he's like, dude, I don't have anything. I don't have any ID or anything like that. How am I supposed to get money? And Brother Eye's like, oh, I'll take care of that. And he just makes the ATM start spitting out money. Immediately a cop pulls up, and he's like, this isn't helpful, Brother Eye. And he tries to explain. The cop's like, look, they just started doing that. I didn't touch it. You can have all the money. I'm not going to do anything. And the cop fires off. It's definitely a gun. Like, he definitely has just a gun. But it seems to be a taser once he fires it. So he's tased. So Kevin's off the table because they recognize he has a Homeland Security. Like, this guy's a terrorist. If you see him, no mercy. We get a cut to the girlfriend's house, Jody Robbins. Kevin tries calling her from prison. And he's like, hey, they think I'm a terrorist. I'm here at a prison. You're going to have to help me. And the girlfriend's like, what did you get yourself into? He's like, it's not me, I swear it's... And then one of the guards is like, no activating any sleeper agents on my watch. Get back to your cell. He's like, okay, I need a lawyer. He's like, you had your phone call. Get back to your cell. One of the cellmates tells him how, oh, yes, we've been waiting on you. The warden had his brain fried a while back by him, and he's been waiting for the both of you, whoever both of you is. Basically, it's just some dude who I guess was a professor or something, and I'll just read off exactly what it said. When the doc got here, the doc's the dude, he was supposed to study the most violent cases, try and find ways to suppress their urges. The warden didn't like what he was doing, put a stop to it. Then the doc experimented on himself and put a stop to the warden. There you go. And his name is Professor Arus, a.k.a. the Sci-Fi Man. P-S-I-F-I. Man. He's got this stupid-looking helmet on in order to not get sensory overload or something like that. And he's like, okay, so you look like a man, but you definitely have something inside you. I believe it's Brother Eye. Let me take a look at that. And I think he may have a way to trigger the O.M.A.C transformation, because he starts transforming, and then we get a cutaway to Brother Eye talking to Maxwell Lord, and he's like, okay, something's going on with Kevin, so we're done talking, Maxwell. Don't come after me. Don't you do it, Maxwell. And he's like, hey, we're good, no problem, bye. And Brother Eye goes to check on Kevin, as Maxwell Lord immediately is like, cool, all right, so here's my team of ace combatants who are going to go after him. I'll teleport you to his location of an energy signal, whatever. We got back to O.M.A.C, who I guess is now stuck mid-transformation by the Sci-Fi Man, who takes off his helmet, and he's like, well, now that I can see inside of you, because you're in mid-transformation, I can find out exactly what you are. He goes inside, and he's like, wow, this actually, I mean, yes, alien technology, but I don't know, kind of boring overall, which I concur completely, Sci-Fi Man. And Brother Eye talks to him, and he's like, oh, actually, hi, I'm the one who set up this meeting. I'm Brother Eye. I've kept an eye on you because you are growing increasingly dangerous, and you must be stopped. And Brother Eye's like, okay, well, you can't stop me. You're not even a human. He's like, oh, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. By the way, O.M.A.C is done transforming. And he manages to kick Sci-Fi Man like out of his consciousness and just throw him across the room. He's like, you may be smart, but you're not strong as O.M.A.C. And then I swear I don't know what happens, but he's got like this brain that's also like partially tail coming out of his head. And he just like whips him with the back of his brain tail. And it does something? I don't know. Anyway, the Checkmate agents arrive, and they're like, okay, well, there's a bunch of prisoners here. Would have been nice to know we were going to a jail. Time to pull out the big weapons. And they pull out something called ambient tech, which can use the electrons in the air to make weapons. I don't know. I don't care. Fires off some shots to take care of the prisoners. They're looking for O.M.A.C. Meanwhile, O.M.A.C crashes into the room fighting Sci-Fi Man. They don't give a crap about the Sci-Fi Man, so they just try to take care of O.M.A.C. O.M.A.C can't break out of the ambient tech, and Brother Eye's like, well, you shouldn't have let them get it around you. That's your fault. But I'll give you an energy surge so you can get out. So he breaks him out. He starts getting his shit-wrecked by the ambient tech, and Brother Eyes just keeps on giving him a hard time. He's like, this is unacceptable. You are the ultimate weapon, and you're losing to some guys pulling weapons out of thin air. What do you have to say to yourself? And O.M.A.C's like, shut up. Literally, he just yells, shut up, as he like does a Hulk smash on the ground, sends the checkmate agents flying, and he's like, all right, I guess that was kind of my fault. I'm gonna teleport you out now, and we will deal with this later. So he teleports out O.M.A.C, and Sci-Fi Man also got away by tricking a guy into thinking he's seeing a pretty girl hitchhiking and then stealing his car. And he leaves when he's like, I need some time alone to plan because I need to learn everything about Brother Eye so O.M.A.C can be mine. And that's where we leave. I'm happy there's less narration. I'm happy not everything is being explained. I'm happy that I don't have to... So, like, don't get me wrong, at the beginning of, like, each little chapter, they have a little thing where they're like, oh, it's finally Saturday, and after a long, exhausting... Like, yes, it's... There's a little bit of a just narration box, but I'm okay with that. It's the parts where it just interrupts in the middle of the story where it's like, okay, why do we need that? I'm glad that stopped. Art-wise... Maybe I'm just getting used to it, but it feels a little bit better. I think Sci-Fi Man looks pretty good, all things considered. Kevin doesn't look like a complete Neanderthal in every panel he's in. Don't get me wrong, he's still pretty close, but he's not as bad. No, art, I think, is mildly improving. Writing is definitely improving. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one just a 5. It's average. It still hasn't taken a step into becoming good, but it's at least taking a step out of being bad. So I'm giving it a 5. Hopefully they can continue the upward trend, but I am not holding my breath on that one.